Developing this weekend in Oklahoma, police say 3 people were hurt after a shooting early this morning at Oklahoma State University in Stillwater. All 3 people were taken to the hospital for treatment. Investigators believe it happened in a campus dorm, and at least one of the victims is an OSU student. It was homecoming weekend with many alumni and family in town. Witnesses say the shooting happened near a dorm, like we said, and so far no suspects have been identified, but police say there's no ongoing threat to public safety. Also developing this weekend, the ceasefire in Gaza withstood its first major test this weekend. Israeli officials say the transfer of humanitarian aid into the area was halted after Hamas militants killed 2 soldiers. Israeli forces then launched a wave of strikes across Gaza, but both sides later recommitted to the ceasefire. A little over a week has passed since the deal was reached. Vice President J.D. Vance will lead a White House delegation to Israel this coming week. He's expected to meet with Israeli leaders to discuss implementing the next phase of that ceasefire agreement. It's unclear who will be joining the vice president on the diplomatic mission. President Trump is facing international challenges this week. He's threatening to end U.S. aid to Colombia, alleging the country's leader isn't doing enough to stop drug cartels. The White House also remains under pressure to bring the war between Russia and Ukraine to an end. CBS News' Willie James Inman has the latest from the White House.
On Sunday, President Trump took to Truth Social, calling the president of Colombia an illegal drug dealer, and pledged to end U.S. aid to Colombia. Writing Gustavo Petro encourages the massive production of drugs in big and small fields all over Colombia. Earlier in the day, Petro criticized Trump for recent U.S. strikes on alleged drug trafficking boats in the Caribbean, including a Colombian vessel on Friday. The president and his administration have repeatedly defended at least 7 strikes on boats in the Caribbean in recent weeks, which include strikes on Venezuelan vessels. Democrats warned the strikes risk getting the U.S. into a full-fledged war. Senator Bernie Sanders said the president needs authority to go to war from Congress.
The president is acting unilaterally in violation of the Constitution. That's a pretty big deal.
On a separate international front, the president is facing pressure to fulfill his months-long promise to bring the war between Russia and Ukraine to an end. The president met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky last week. Zelensky asked the U.S. for ongoing support in its war against Russia, including Tomahawk missiles, which President Trump has not committed to providing. On Sunday's Meet the Press, Zelensky said he would like to be part of planned talks in Budapest between Trump and Putin.
We spoke about it. They will discuss with Putin. He wanted to hear my opinion. My opinion, if we really want to have just and lasting peace, we need both sides of this tragedy. Yes, he's an occupier, but Ukraine is suffering and fighting.
All of this comes as the federal government shutdown nears 3 weeks. Some Republican senators are now pushing for standalone measures to pay U.S. troops and federal workers during the shutdown. Willie James Inman, CBS News, West Palm Beach, Florida.
The federal government shutdown is now in its 19th day with no end in sight. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle were on CBS's Face the Nation today talking about the stalemate. It's estimated to be costing the U.S. economy $15 billion each week. The main fight centers on funding for the Affordable Care Act's health insurance tax credits. Republicans are asking to reopen the government first, then negotiate, but Democrats say they want to talk with the president about their demands before agreeing to anything.
There are a lot of people that are being affected by the Democrats playing politics, and they need to actually do what's right, and that is work for the American people. And so getting the government open is number one.
The president has spent 1 hour negotiating this issue with leadership in Congress. That's it, 1 hour. They need to get in the room and stay in the room until we can hash this out. The president has said he wants to fix this premium thing, and he wants the government open. That's what we want.
The Senate is scheduled to reconvene tomorrow night when another vote is expected. Republicans will need the support of at least 7 Democrats to send the measure to the president. Well, an officer in training is joining the Cedarville Police Department, but this one walks on 4 legs. 5 News reporter Claire Everbach visited the station today to meet the newest addition to the team.
This is Jax. He's a 2-year-old pit bull mix who's currently in narcotics canine training. Jax is part of Sector K9, a program in Texas that rescues dogs from shelters and trains them for narcotics detection. After being in a kill shelter, Jax was adopted by Officer Troy Leonard last month to train for the Cedarville Police Department. Leonard says Jax will be a valuable resource for drug searches.
Here in our department, we actually utilize them for searching vehicles, like on narcotics, for methamphetamines, heroin. We also utilize him in schools. He can do locker searches and stuff like that.
We'll hear more about Jax's story and his training tonight at 10. In Cedarville, covering news where you live, Claire Everbach, 5 News.
Gas prices are inching lower. AAA says the current national average price for a gallon of regular gasoline that could reach the $3 mark for the first time in 4 years. In the past week, the national average has dropped more than 5 cents a gallon to $3.05. In Arkansas and Oklahoma, prices are some of the cheapest in the country. AAA reports Arkansas drivers are paying $2.61, while in Oklahoma, it's 9 cents cheaper at $2.52. The travel agency says several factors are behind the drop, including lower demands as temperatures fall, the falling prices of crude oil, and hurricane season not having a big impact on Gulf Coast refineries. Well, Thanksgiving is a little over a month away, and AAA says it's expecting this holiday travel season to set new records. Chris Van Cleve has advice on beating the travel rush this year.
Thanksgiving 2024 was the busiest Thanksgiving ever at the nation's airports, records that may be shattered again this year. Booking data looking at 2024 versus 2025 shows holiday trips booked between June 30th and October 8th are up 2.2% for Thanksgiving and nearly 1% for Christmas week.
We're a really good real-time indicator of the economy. I think the economy today is actually stronger than a lot of the backwards-looking statistics would indicate, because we're seeing it in the bookings data.
United Airlines CEO Scott Kirby.
I think the entire fourth quarter, the fall break, Thanksgiving, Christmas, they're all likely to set records with strong demands.
Can this, every season being a record season, can that pace continue? At some point, don't you hit a ceiling?
As long as the economy keeps growing, I think that pace can continue.
Airlines are adding about 250,000 more seats this Thanksgiving. NerdWallet's annual holiday travel report expects Americans to spend $311 billion on flights and hotels this year, about $2,600 a person, up nearly $260 from last year. Sally French tracks travel for NerdWallet.
This is really the week that you want to be booking your Thanksgiving travel, and we are not far out from the week that you want to make sure you've got your Christmas locked in. Your Christmas travel should be booked that first week of November.
Most Americans will drive for Thanksgiving, and their wallets may get a break at the pumps. Gas prices nationally are falling, approaching $3 a gallon on average. Parts of Oklahoma and Ohio may even see prices dip below $2 a gallon.
NerdWallet says in general you want to try to book Christmas travel at least 51 days in advance. That is November 4th for Christmas week. After that, expect prices to start rising. The airlines think Florida and Arizona will be popular. Internationally, they've added the most capacity to the Dominican Republic, Ireland, and the Philippines. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Phoenix.